If you are wrong, admit it. I live almost in the geographical center of Great New York, within a mere walk of my house. There's a wide stretch of virgin timber where the squirrels nest and rear their young and horse will grow as tall as a horsehead. This unspoiled woodland is called Forest Farm. It is a forest probably not much different in appearance from what it was after Columbus discovered America. I frequently go walking in this park with Lex, my little Boston bulldog. He is friendly, harmless little hound. And since we rarely met anyone in the park, I take Rex along without the rich or mother. One day we encountered a mounted policeman in the park. The policeman reaching to show his authority. What do you mean by letting that dog run loose in the park without muzzle release? He reprimanded me. Don't you know it's against the law? Yes, I know it is. I replied softly. But I didn't think he would do any harm out here. Ah, you didn't think? You didn't think? The Lord doesn't give a tinker's damn about us to think. That dog might kill a squirrel or bite a child. Now, I'm going to let you off this time. But if I catch this dog out here again, like a muzzle, you'll have to carry it to the judge. And I did obey. A few times, Alex didn't like muzzle, and neither did I, so we decided to take a chance. Everything was lovely for a while, and then he struck and snapped. Lex and I raced over the brow of a hill one afternoon, and there suddenly, to my dismay, I saw the majesty of the law astride the bay horse. Lecky was out in front, heading straight for the officer. I was in for it. I knew it. So I didn't wait until the policeman started talking. I, I beat him to it. I said, "Officer, you caught me red-handed. I'm guilty. I have no alibis, no excuses. You warned me last week that if I brought this dog out here again without muzzle, you would find me." Well, now the policeman responded in a soft tone. "I know. It's a temptation to let a little dog like that have a run out here when nobody's around." "Sure, it's a temptation," I replied, "but it's against the law." "Well, a little dog like that isn't going to harm anyone." The policeman demonstrated. "No, but he may kill squirrels," I said. "Well, now I think you're taking this a bit too seriously," he told me. "I'll tell you what you do. You just let him run over the hill there where I can see him, and we'll forget all about it." The policeman, being human, wants a feeling of importance. So when I began to condemn myself, the only way he could nourish his self-esteem was to take the magnanimous, magnanimous attitude of showing mercy. But suppose I had tried to defend myself. "Well, did you ever argue with the policeman?" But I, instead of breaking lance with him, I admit that he was absolutely I admitted that he was absolutely right. I was absolutely wrong. I admitted it quickly, openly, made enthusiasm. The affair terminated graciously by my taking his side, and he's taking my side. Lord Chesterfield himself could hardly have been more gracious than this mounted policeman, who only a week previously had threatened to have the law on me. If we know we are going to get the old Henry anyhow, isn't it far better to beat the other fellow to it and do it ourselves? Isn't it much easier to listen to self-criticism than to bear condemnation from alienly? Say by yourself all the derogatory things you know. The other person is thinking or want to say or intend to say, and you take the wind out of his sail. The chances are 100 to 1 that he will then take a generous or forgiving attitude and minimize your mistake, just as the mounted policeman did with me and them. Ferdinand Beethoven, a commercial artist, used this technique to win the goodwill of a scolding buyer of the art. It is important It is important in making drawing for advertising and publishing purposes. 이 프리사든 대리기지. But Warren said as he told the story. Some art editors demanded their commission be executed immediately. In this case, some slight error is liable to occur. I know one art director in particular who was always delighted to find fault with some little thing. I have often left his office in disgust, not because of the criticism, but because of his method of attack. Recently, I delivered the rush job to this editor. He phoned me to call at his office immediately. He said something was wrong. When I arrived, I found just what I had anticipated. And well, he was pastor and gloating over his chance to criticize. He demanded with heat why I had done so and so. My opportunity had come to apply the self-criticism I'd been studying about. So I said, Mr. So-and-so, if what you say is true, I'm at fault and there's absolutely no excuse for my blunder. I have been doing drawing for you long enough to know better. I'm ashamed of myself. Immediately he started to defend me. Yes, you're right. But after all, this isn't a serious mistake. It's only I interrupt him. Any mistake, I said, may be costly and they are all irritating. He started to break it, but I wouldn't let him. I was having a grand time. For the first time in my life, I was criticizing myself, and I love it. I should have been more careful. I continued. You give me a lot of work, and you deserve the best. So I'm going to do this drawing all over. No, he protested. I wouldn't think of putting you to all the trouble. He praised my work, assured me that he wanted only a minor change, and that my slight error hadn't cost him his firm any money, and after all, it was a mere detail, not worth worrying about. My eagerness to criticize myself took all the fire out of me. He ended up by taking me to lunch, and before he parted, he gave me a check and another commission. Any fool can try to defend his mistake, and most fools do, but it raises one above the herd and give one a feeling of inability, exaltation to admit one's mistake. For example, one of the most beautiful things that history records about Robert E. Lee is the way he blamed himself and only himself for the failure of the Piquet charge at Gettysburg. Piquet charge was undoubtedly the most brilliant picturesque attack that have occurred in the Western world. Himself was picturesque. He, he wore his hair so long and his overalls almost touched his shoulders. And like Napoleon in his Italian campaign, he wrote, he wrote ardent love letters about almost daily in the battlefield. His devoted troops cheered him that tragic July afternoon as he rode off the jaunt toward the Union line. With his cap set at the angle of his right ear, they cheered and they followed him, man touching man, land touching land, with banners flying, and it was a gallant sight, highly magnificent. A murmur of admiration ran through the Union lines as they beheld it. The castle swept forward with an easy trot through orchard and cornfield. Across the middle of the road. All the time, the enemy's cannon was tearing ghastly holes in their ranks. But on they pressed grim and irresistible. Suddenly, the Union infantry rose from behind the stone wall on Cemetery Ridge, where they had been hiding, and fired volley after volley into Piquet's defenseless troops. The crest of the hill was a shade of flame. Slaughterhouse, blazing volcano. In a few minutes, all the Piquet's brigade commanders, except one, were down, and 4/5 of his 5,000 men had fallen. Armistead, leading the troop in the final frenzy, ran forward, vaulted over the corner, and waving his cap on the top of his sword, shouted again. They leaped over the wall, the enemy, smashed his skull with a blood musket, planted battle flags of the South and Cemetery Bridge. The banners waved there only for a moment, but that moment, brief as it was, recorded the high watermark of the Confederacy. Pickett's charge, brilliant heroicity, was nevertheless the beginning of the end. Lee had failed. He could not penetrate the north, and he knew it. The South was doomed. Lee was so saddened, so shocked that he sent in his resignation and asked Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy, to appoint a younger and abler man. If Lee had wanted to blame the just failure of Patrick Child on someone else, he could have found a score of alibis. Some of his division commanders had failed him. The cavalry had arrived in time to support the infantry. This had gone wrong, and that had gone away. But he was far too noble to blame others. As Pickett's beaten and blood troops struggled back to the Confederate line, Robert E. Lee rode up to lead them all along. Greeted them with a self-condemnation that was a little short of sunlight. All this has been my fault, he confessed. I alone have lost this battle. The generals in all history have had the courage and character to admit them. Albert Hubbard was one of the most original authors who ever stirred up the nation. His stinging sentences often aroused fierce resentment, but Hubbard, with his rare skill for handling people, frequently turned his enemies into friends. For example, when some irritated leader wrote in to say that he didn't agree with such an article and ended by calling Harvard this and that. If Harvard would answer like this: "Come to think it over, I don't entirely agree with myself. Not everything I wrote yesterday appeals to me today." I'm glad to learn what to think on the subject. The next time you are in the neighborhood, you must visit us and we'll get this subject dressed out for all time. So here is the hand clasp of the mice and island. What could you say to a man who treats you like this? When you are right, let's try to win people in time. Tactically, gently and tactically, to our way of thinking. And when we are wrong, and there will be surprisingly often. If we are honest with ourselves, let's admit our mistakes quickly and with enthusiasm. That technique will not only produce astonishing results, but I believe it or not, it is a lot more fun in the circumstances than trying to defend oneself. Remember the old proverb. By fighting, you never get enough, but by yielding, you get more than you expected. So, if we want to lead people to your way of thinking, it would be advisable to remember those things. If you are wrong, admit it quickly and empathetically. High road to man's wisdom. If your temples are older than you tell me a thing or two. We'll have a fine time of noticing your feelings. But what about the other fellow? Will he show your pleasure? Will your belligerent tone, your haughty attitude, make it easy for him to get angry with you? If you torment me with your fist double, said Wilson, I think I can promise you that mine would double as fast as yours. But if you come to me and say, let us sit down and take counsel together, and if we differ from one another, understand why we differ from one another. Just what the point at issue are. We presently find that we are not so far apart after all. Yes. The points on which we differ are few, and the points on which we agree are many. And that if we won't have the patience and the candor and the desire to get together, we'll get together. Nobody appreciates the truth of Woodrow Wilson's statements more than John D. Rockefeller did. 1960. Rockefeller was the most fiercely despised man in Colorado. One of the bloodiest strikes in the history of American industry had been shocking the state for 2 terrible years. Irritated and belligerent miners were demanding higher wages from the Colorado Fuel and Iron Company, and Rockefeller controlled the company. Property had been destroyed. Troops had been called out. Blood had been shed. Strikers had been shot. Their bodies riddled with bullets. At a time like that, with air, with hatred, Rockefeller wanted to win the strike, his way of thinking. And he did it, and he did it how? With the story. After weeks spent in making friends, Rockefeller addressed the representative of the strikers. This speech in its entirety is a masterpiece. He produced astonishing results. He calmed the tempestuous waves of the head that dressed to engulf Rockefeller. It won him a force of admirer. He presents facts in such a friendly manner that the strikers went back to work without saying another word about the increased wages of which they had fought so violently. Here is the opening of that remarkable speech. Note how it fairly glows with friendliness. Remember Rockefeller taking to man who a few days previously wanted to hang him by the neck to sour apple tree, yet he couldn't have been more gracious, more friendly. He had addressed a group of medical missionaries. His speech is radiant with such phrases as I am proud to be here, having visited in your home, met many of your wives and children. We met here not as strangers, but as friends. Speak of mutual friendship. Our common interest is only by your footsteps I'm here. This is a red letter day in my life, Rockefeller began. This is the first time I have ever had a good fortune to meet representative employee of this great company, its officer and superintendent together. And I can assure you that I'm proud to be here and that I shall remember this gathering as long as I live. Had this meeting been held 2 weeks ago, I should have stood here, a stranger to most of you, recognizing a few faces. Having had the opportunity last week of visiting other camps in the southern Pole field and of taking individually with practically all of the representatives, except those who are away, having visited in your home, met many of your wives and children, we meet here, not a stranger, but a friend. And it is in the spirit of mutual friendship that I'm glad to have this opportunity to discuss with you our common interest. Since this is a meeting of the officers of the company and the representative of the employee, it's only by your courtesy that I'm here. For I'm not so fortunate as to be either one or the other. And yet I feel that I'm intimately associated with you men. So in a sense, I represent both the stockholders and the directors. In the superb example of the fine art of making friends and family, several Rockefeller had taken different paths. Suppose he had argued with those minors and heard the best fact in their face. Suppose he had told them by his tone and insinuation that they were wrong. Suppose by orders of magic, he had proved that they were wrong. What would have happened? More anger would have stirred up, more hatred, more revolt. If a man's heart is ranking with discord and with ill feeling toward you, you can win him to your way of thinking, with all the logic. Scolding terror and both his husband and nagging wife ought to realize that people don't want to change their mind. They can be forced or driven to agree with you or me. But they may possibly be glad too if we are gentle and friendly, so gentle or so friendly. And the said it in the text almost 100 years ago. Here are his words. It is an old and true maxim that a drop of honey catches more flies than a gallon of gas. So, with men, if you would win a man to your cause, first convince him that you are his sincere friend. There is a drop of honey that catches his heart, which is, say what you will, is a great high road to his vision. Businessmen are learning that it pays to be friendly to strikers. For example, when 2,500 employees in the World Motor Company plan to stop or hire wages and union shop. Robert F. Black, the president didn't react on them and threatened and talk of terror and Congress. He actually faced the strikers. He published an advertisement in the Cleveland paper, complimenting them on the peaceful way in which they laid down their food. Finding the strike teachers idle, he bought them a couple of dozen baseball bats and gloves and invited them to play ball from late to light. For those who preferred bowling, he rent a bowling alley. His friendliness on President Black's part did what friendliness always does. He became friendly. So the strikers borrowed loom, shovels, logged cart, and began picking up matches paper, cigarette star, and cigarette around the factory. Imagine strikers tidying up the factory ground while medaling for higher wage and recognition of the union. Such an event had never been heard of before in the long, tempestuous history of American labor world. That strike ended with compromise. 7 months within a week, ended without any ill feeling or Benjamin Webster, who looked like a god and talked like was one of the most successful advocates who ever paid the court. Yet he ushered in his most powerful argument with such a friendly remark that it will be for the jury to consider. This may perhaps be worth thinking of the month. Here are some facts. That I trust you will not lose sight of the moon, for you, with your knowledge of human nature, will easily see the significance of this fact. No believer, no high praise no attempt to force his opinion on man. Webster used this soft-spoken, quiet, friendly approach. And it helped to make him famous. But you may want to get your rent reduced. Will the friendly approach help you? Then let's see. Oilstripe, an engineer, wanted to get his rent reduced, and he knew his landlord was hard-boiled. I wrote him. Trout said in a speech before the class, notifying him that I was vacating my apartment as soon as my lease expired. The truth was, I didn't want to move. I wanted to stay if I could get my rent reduced, but the situation seemed hopeless. Other tenants had tried and failed. Everyone told me that the landlord was extremely difficult to deal with. Extremely difficult to deal with. But I said to myself, I'm studying a course in how to deal with people. So I'll try it on him and see how it works. He and his secretary came to see me as soon as he got my letter. I met him at the door with a regular greeting. I fairly bubbled with goodwill and enthusiasm. I didn't begin talking about how high the rent was. I began talking about how much I liked his apartment house. Believe me, I was hearty in my approbation and lavish in my praise. I complimented him on the way he ran the building. I complimented him on the way he ran the building and told him I should like so much to stay for another year, but I couldn't afford it. He had evidently never had such a reception from tenant. He hardly knew what to make of it. Then he started to tell me his troubles. Complaining to tenant, one had written him 14 letters, some of them positively insulting. Another threatened to break his lease unless the landlord kept the man on the floor above from snoring. What a relief it is, he said, to have a satisfied tenant like you. And then without my even asking him to do, he offered to reduce my rent a little. I wanted more. So I named the figure I could afford to pay, and he accepted without a word. As he was leaving, he turned to me and asked, "What decorating can I have done for you?" If I had tried to get the rent reduced by the method the other tenants were using, I'm positive I should have met with the same failure they encountered. It was a friendly, sympathetic, appreciative approach that won. Let's take another illustration. We'll take a woman this time. A woman from the social register. Michelle Dorothy of Garden City on the sandy stretches of the Long Island. I recently gave a lunch to a small group of friends, said Michelle Day. It was an important occasion for me. Naturally, I was most eager to have everything go smooth. Amy is usually my able assistant in these matters. But on this occasion, he ran me down. The luncheon was a failure. Amy was loyal to the scene. He sent only one waiter to take it over. This waiter hadn't the faintest conception of first-class service. He persisted in serving my guest of honor last. Once he had served her one miserable little piece of celery on a large dish, the meat was tough, potatoes greasy, it was horrible. I was furious. With considerable effort, I smiled through the ordeal, but I kept saying to myself, just wait until I see him. I'll give him a piece of my mind, all right? This happened on Wednesday. The next night, I heard a lecture on human relationships. As I listened, I realized how futile it would be to give Amy a dressing down. It would make him sullen and resentful. Would kill all desire to help me in the future. I try to look at it from his standpoint. He hadn't bought the food. He hadn't cooked it. He couldn't help it because some of his waiters were gone. Perhaps I had been too severe, too hasty in my wrath. So instead of criticizing him, I decided to begin in a friendly way. I decided to open up on him with appreciation. This approach worked beautifully. I saw Emil the following day. He was defensively angry and spoiled the weather. I said, see here, Emil, I want you to know that it means a great deal to me to have you at my back when I entertain. You are the best in New York. Of course, I fully appreciate that you don't buy the food and cookies. You couldn't help what happened on Wednesday. The cloud disappeared. Emil smiled and said exactly, Madame, the trouble was in the kitchen. It was not my fault. So I continued. I have planned other parties, Emil, and I need your advice. Do you think we had better give the kitchen another chance? Oh, certainly, Madame, of course. It might never happen again. The following week, I gave another luncheon. Emil and I planned the menu. I cut his teeth in half and never mentioned past mistake. When he arrived, the table was colorful with 24 American Beauty roses. Emil was in constant attendance. He could hardly have my part with more attention. He could hardly show my party with more attention if I had been entertained. Kim Murray, the food was excellent and hot. The service was perfection. The entry was served by 4 waiters instead of 1. Emil personally served delicious meals to finish it first. As we are leaving, my guest of honor asked, have you charmed the master of the hotel? I never saw such service, such attention. She was right. I'd charmed with a friendly approach and sincere appreciation. Years ago, when I was a barefooted boy walking through the woods to a country school out in northwest Missouri, I read a fable one day about the sun and the wind. They called about which was the stronger and the wind said. I put my hand. See the old man down there with the coat. I bet I can make him take his coat off quicker than you can. So the sun went behind the cloud, and wind blew until it was almost a tornado. But the harder it blew, the tighter the old man wrapped his coat about him. Finally, the wind calmed down and gave up. And then sun came out from behind the cloud and smiled kindly on the old man. Presently he mopped his brow and pulled off his coat. The sun then told the wind that gently and friendliness was always stronger than fury and force. Even while I was a boy reading this fable, the truth of it was actually being demonstrated in the far-off town of Boston. Historic center of education and culture that I never dreamed of ever reading. See, it was being demonstrated in Boston. Physician who 30 years later became one of my students. Here is the story exactly related in one of his talks before the class. The Boston newspaper in those days, screamed with fake medical advertising. The ads of professional abortionists and physicians who pretend to treat the disease of men, but who really preyed upon many innocent victims by frightening them with talk about loss of manhood and other terrible conditions. Their treatment consisted in keeping the victim filled with terror and giving him no useful treatment at all. The abortionists had caused many deaths, but there were few criticisms, few convictions. There are few convictions. Most of them paid small fine or got up through political influence. The condition became so terrible that the group people of Boston rose up in holy indignation. Preachers founded their pulpit, condemned the paper, implore the help of Almighty God to stop this advertising. Civil organizations, businessmen, women's clubs, churches, and young people's society, then did not, all in vain. A big fire was raised in the state legislature to make this disgraceful advertising illegal, but it was defeated by graft and political influence. Dr. B was then chairman of the Good Citizenship Committee of the Great Boston. His committee had tried everything. It had failed. The fight against these medical criminals became hopeless. Then one night after midnight, Dr. B tried something that apparently no one in Boston had ever thought of trying. He tried kindness, sympathy, appreciation. He tried to make the publishers actually want to stop the advertising. He wrote the publisher of the Boston Herald, telling him how much he admired his paper. He had always read it, and the news items were clean, not sensational, and the editorials were excellent. It was a splendid paper, family paper. He declared it was, in his opinion, the best paper in New England, one of the finest in America. But continued Dr. B. A friend of mine has a young daughter. He told me that his daughter read one of your advertisements aloud to him the other night. The advertisement of a professional abortionist, and then asked him what was meant by some of the phrases. Frankly, he was embarrassed. He didn't know what to say. Your paper goes into best homes in Boston. If that happens in the home of my friend, isn't it probable that it is happening in many other homes also? If we had a young daughter, would you want her to read note advertisement? And if she did read them, ask you about them, how could you explain? I'm sorry, such a splendid paper as yours. Almost perfect in every other way, has this one feature which makes some friends ready to see their daughters pick it up. Isn't it probable that thousands of your other subscribers hear about it just as I do? 2 days later, the publisher of the Boston Herald wrote Dr. B. The doctor kept the letter in his file for a third of a century and gave it to me when he was a member of my club. I have it in front of me now as I write. It's dated October 13, 1912. Yes, sir. I really feel under obligation to you for your letter of the 11th addressed to the editor of this paper, which I have had under contemplation ever since I have been in charge here. Beginning Monday, I propose to have the Boston Herald absolutely expurgate of all objectionable advertising matter. as far as it is possible to do so. Medical card or sprays like and like advertising will be absolutely killed. And all other medical advertising which is it is impossible to keep out at this time will be thoroughly edited that will be absolutely inoffensive. Again thanking you for your kind letter, which has been helpful in this respect. I beg to be read. Aesop was a Greek slave who lived the court of his son, immortal fable, 600 years before Christ. Yet the truth he thought about human nature just as true in Boston and Birmingham. Now, as there were 25 centuries ago in Athens, the sun can make you take off your coat. More quickly than the wind. And the kindness, the friendly approach, and the appreciation can make people change their mind more readily than all the blood and storming in Christendom. Remember what Lincoln said, a drop of honey catches more flies than a gallon of gold. When you wish to win people to your way of thinking, don't forget to use the rule 4 in a friendly way. The secret of Socrates. In talking to people, don't begin by discussing the things on which you differ. Begin by emphasizing and keep on emphasizing the things on which you agree. Keeping emphasizing, if possible, that you are both striving for the same end, and your only difference is one of method and not of purpose. Get the other person say yes, yes, outside. Keep him, if possible, from saying no. A no response, a Professor in his book, employs human behavior is the most difficult handicap to overcome. When a person has said no, always try the personality demand. He remains consistent with himself. He may later feel that the no was ill-advised, nevertheless, that is his precious pride considered. Once having said a thing, he must stick to it. Hence, it is of the very greatest importance that we start a person in the affirmative direction. The skillful speakers get outset a number of yes responses. He has thereby set the psychological processes of his listeners moving in affirmative direction. It is like the movement of billboard brilliant. Propel it in one direction and it takes some force to deflect it, far more force to send it back in the opposite direction. The psychological patterns here are quite clear. When a person says no and really means it, he is doing far more than saying a word or two letters. His entire organism gathers itself together into a condition of rejection. There is usually in minute, but sometimes in objectable degree. The physical withdrawal, magnetic withdrawal, the whole system ensures that itself on guard against acceptance. Where, on the contrary, a person says yes, none of the withdrawing activity takes place. The organism is in a forward-moving, accepting, open attitude. And the more yeses we can at the very outset, induced, the more likely we are to succeed in capturing the attention for our alternative proposal. It is a very simple technique. This is yes response and yes how much neglected. It often seems as if people get a sense of their own importance by antagonizing others. The radical comes into a conference with his conservative background, and immediately he must make them furious. What, as a matter of fact, is the good of it? If he simply does it in order to get some pleasure out of it for himself, he may pardon it. But if he expects to achieve something, he is only psychologically speaking. Get a student to say no at the beginning, and we take the wisdom and the patience and anger to transform that negative into affirmative. The use of this yes technique in Abidjan to save a prospective customer. This man came in to open an account, and I gave him our usual form to fill out. Some of the questions he answered willingly, but there were others he flatly refused to answer. Before I began the study of the human relation, I should have told this perspective if we refuse to give the bank, because we should have to refuse ourselves into account. I am ashamed that I have been guilty of doing the very thing. In fact, naturally, an ultimatum like that made me feel good. I had shown who was born, the bank's rules and regulations. Couldn't be floated. But the sort of attitude certainly didn't give a feeling of welcome and importance to the man who had walked in, giving us this patronage. I reserved this morning to use a little caution. I reserved not to talk about what the bank wanted, but about what the customer wanted. And above all else, I was determined to get him saying yes, yes, from the very start. So I agreed with him. I told him the information he used to give was absolutely necessary. However, I said, suppose you have money in this bank, or your desk, wouldn't you like to have the bank transfer it to your next of kin who is entitled to it according to law? Yes, of course, he replied. Don't you think I continued that? It would be a good idea to give us the name of your next as a king, so that in the event of your death, we could carry out your wishes without error or delay. Again, he said yes. The young man's attitude softened and changed when he realized that you're asking for this information for our sake, but for his sake. Before leaving the bank, this young man not only gave me complete information about himself, but he opened at my suggestion a trust account, naming his mother as a beneficiary of his account. And he gladly answered all the questions concerning his mother also. I found that by getting him saying yes in the outset, he forgot the useless step and was happy to do all the things I suggested. There was a man on my territory that our company was most eager to sell, said salesman for Westinghouse. My professor had called on him for 10 years without selling anything. My predecessor. When I took over the territory, I called steadily for 3 years without getting an order. Finally, after 13 years of the call and sales talk, we sold him a few models. If this proves to be alright, I pass of an order for several hundred more. Such was my expectation. Right. I knew that would be alright. So when I called this week, 3 weeks later, I was stepping high. But I didn't step high very long, so the chief engineer greeted me with this shocking announcement. And listen, I came by the reminder of the models from you. Why? I asked on the management. Why? Because your models are too hard. I can't put my hand on them. I knew it wouldn't do any good to argue. I had tried that sort of thing too long. So I thought of getting the yes said response. Well, now, Mr. Smith, I said, I agree with you 100%. If those models are running too hard, you ought not to buy any more of them. You must have models that won't run any harder than standard set by the regulations of the National Electrical Manufacturers Association. Isn't that so? He agreed it was. I had gotten my first year. The Electrical Manufacturers Association regulations say that properly designed motor may have a temperature of 72 degrees Fahrenheit above room temperature. Is that correct? Yes, he agreed. That's quite correct. But your mothers are much harder. I didn't agree with him. I didn't agree with him. I merely asked him, how hot is the meal room? Oh, he said, about 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I replied, if the meal room is 75 degrees and you added 72 to that makes a total of 147 degrees Fahrenheit. Wouldn't you scald your hand if you held in it under the speaker of hot water at a temperature of 142 degrees Fahrenheit? Again, he had to say yes. Yes. I suggested, wouldn't it be a good idea to keep your hands off the motor? Yes. I guess you're right, admitted. He continued to chat for a while, then he called his secretary and lined up approximately $45,000 worth of business for the insuring man. It took me years and cost me countless thousands of dollars in those business before I finally learned that it doesn't pay argue that it is much more profitable and much more interesting to look at things from the other man's viewpoint and try to get him to say yes, yes. Ratel, the lion Adam, was a brilliant old boy in spite of the fact he went barefooted and married a girl of 19. And he was bald-headed and 40. It is something that only a handful of men in all history have been able to do. He sharply changed the whole course of human thought, and now, 23 centuries after his death, he is honored as one of the wisest persuaders who ever influenced this wrangling world. His method, did he tell people they were wrong or no? He was far too right for them. His whole technique, now called the Socratic method, was based upon getting yes, yes response. He asked questions with which his opponent would have to agree. He kept on winning one admission after another until he had an arm to the death. He kept on asking questions until finally, almost without realizing, his opponent found himself embracing a conclusion that he have bitterly denied the human figures. Next time we are smarting to tell a man he's wrong. Let's remember the effort laws of godliness. The anti-Christian person that will get the yes response. The Chinese have a proverb pregnant with the age-old wisdom of the changelessness. He who treads soft goes far. They have spent 5,000 years studying human nature. Those cautious Chinese, when they had gone the knowledge hospitality, he who treads soft goes far. If you want people to get your way of drinking good qualities, you know what the person says, yes, just immediately. The safety value in handling complaints. Safety value in handling complaints. Most people, when trying to win others to their way of thinking, do too much talking themselves. Salesmen especially are guilty of this costly error. Let the other man talk himself out. He knows more about his business and his problem than you do. So ask him questions. Let him talk to you a few things. If you disagree with him, you may be tempted to interrupt, but don't. It's dangerous. He won't pay attention to you while he still has a lot of ideas of his own clinical expression. So listen patiently and with an open mind. Be sincere about it. Encourage him to express his idea fully. Does this participate in business? Let's see. There's the story of a man who was forced to strike. A few years ago, one of the largest automobile manufacturers in the United States was negotiating for years retirement. Three important manufacturers had worked off by fabricating sample bodies. These had all been inspected by the executive of the motor company notices had been sent to each manufacturer saying, on certain days the representative would be given opportunity to make his final plea for the company. The representative of one manufacturer arrived in town with a severe attack of when it came my turn to meet the executive in conference with ourselves as he read the story before one of my friends. I lost my voice. I could hardly whisper. I was also into a room to find myself face to face with a textile engineer, purchasing agent, director of sales, and the president of the company. I stood up and made a valiant effort to speak, but I couldn't do anything more than that. They were all seated around the table, so I wrote a pair of paper. Gentlemen, I've lost my voice and speak to you. I'll just talk for you. The president said, he did. He exhibited my sample and paid their good fire. The lab discussion arose about the merits of my group. And the president, since he was talking for me, took my side during the discussion. My sole participation consists of a smile, nod, and few gestures. As a result of this unique conference, I was awarded the contract, which calls for over 500,000 yards of fabric in aggregate value of the biggest order I've ever received. I know I should have lost that contract if I hadn't lost my goal. Because I had the wrong idea about the whole preposition. I discovered quite by accident how rich it sometimes takes to let the other fellow do the talking. Later, the electronic company made the same discovery. We was making a rural inspection trip to the district of prosperous Pennsylvania Dutch family. While those people are using electricity, yes, they district represent as the best welfare farmers. They are Taiwan. We can't sell them anything. The victim may answer in this case. And besides the small company, I have tried copy. Maybe it was, but he decided to try anyway. So he knocked the farmer's door. The door opened by a narrow crack. And all was right. As soon as she saw the company representative, said, as he related the story, she slammed the door in our face. I knocked again and again. She opened the door, and this time she began to tell us what she thought about our company. She said, I said, I'm sorry to trouble you, but I didn't come here to sell you electricity. I merely wanted to buy some everything. She opened the door wide and stared out at us suspiciously. I noticed your fine flower, she said, and I should like to buy a dozen fresh eggs. The door opened a little wider. How do you know my hands were? She inquired, her curiosity. I ate chicken myself. I replied. I must say, I have never seen a finer flower. Why don't you use your own egg then? She demanded, with some suspicion, because the migrant lay right there, and naturally, being a cook yourself, you know, white eggs can compare to brown eggs when it comes to making cake. And my wife pried herself on her head. By this time, ventured out into the pouch, much more amiable frame of mind. In the meantime, my eyes had been wandering around, and I had discovered that the farm was equipped with a fine-looking dairy. As a matter of fact, I continue. I bet you make more money. I bet you make more. I bet you make money. I bet you make more 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 money from your hands than your husband makes with his dairy. Bang! She was off. Sure she did. And she loved to tell me about it, but loud. She couldn't make her old husband look hot at me. She invited us down to see her old house. And on our tour of inspection, I noticed very little contraction that she had to do. And I was hardly my observation and that in my pay, I recommend certain speed and certain temperature. And ask her advice on several points. I'm sure you're having a good time. Shopping experience. Recently, she remarked that some put electric light in their hen houses, and they claimed they had got excellent results. She wanted my honest opinion as to whether or not you could pay her to do the same thing. 2 weeks later, I had my order. She was getting more eggs. Everyone was satisfied and one had gained. But, and this is the point of the story, I should never have sold electric to this Pennsylvania the farm line. If I had not thought that to talk herself into it. Such people can be sold. You have to let them buy. But advertisement appeared recently on the final page of the New York Herald Tribune. Calling for men with unusual ability and period. Answered the advertisement and his reply to document. A few days later, he was invited by letter to call for an interview. Before he called, he spent hours in worldly finding out everything possible about the man who had found these. During the interview, he remarked, I should be mighty proud to be associated with an organization with a record like yours. I understand you started 28 years ago with nothing but that group that once stand record. Is that true? Once I was successful men like those reminiscence about his early struggle. This man was no exception. He talked for a long time about how he had started with $450 in cash and original idea. He told how he had fought against discouragement and battled against difficulty, working Sundays and holidays 16 hours a day. How he had finally won against all odds until now. The biggest man in Wall Street were coming to him for information and guidance. He was proud of such a record. He had a right to do. And he had a splendid time telling about it. Finally, he questioned him briefly about his experience. Then called in one of his vice presidents and said, I think this is the man you are looking for. They were taking the trouble to find out about the complaints of his prospective employees. He showed an interest in the other man's problem. He encouraged the other man to do most of the talking and made a favorable impression. The truth is that even our friends would far rather talk to us about their achievements than listen to us boast about ours. French philosopher said, if you want an enemy, excel your enemy, but if you want friend, let your friend excel you. Why is that true? Because when our friend excel us, they give them a feeling of importance. When our friend excel us, that gives them feeling of importance. But when we excel them, that gives them a feeling of inferiority, rose in ambient jealousy. The Germans have proverb, which we interpret goes something like this. The purest joy is to malicious joy. We take in the misfortune of those we have envied. Or to put it another way, the purest joy, the joy you take in other people's trouble. Yes. Some of your friends probably get more satisfaction out of your trouble than out of your triumph. So, let's minimize our achievement. Let's be modest. They always make a hit. That was right technique. Lawyer once said to person when he was written down, I understand, Mr. Cole, that you are one of the most famous writers in America. Is that correct? I have probably been more positive than I deserve, Paul replied. You ought to be modest, for neither you nor I are much. Both of us will pass on, be completely forgotten, sent from now. Life is too short to go other people with the talk of petty accomplishment. Let's encourage them to talk instead. Come think of that about it. You haven't much to brag about anyway. Do you know what keeps you from becoming an idiot? Not much. On any case of what's over in your, if a physician were to open your blind glands in your neck and take out a little, you would become idiot. A little, I don't know. There could be both the corner drugstore, the fighting all the time between them and institution for mental health. It is also like that. That is much to be also about it. So if we want people to our way of thinking, let the other come to a great deal of the cause. Okay. Reading practice finished. It's so fast. Reading. Okay, I'm going to put it right today. I'm going to finish it now. As I told you before, I prefer to read outside because I'm going to practice English reading. You know, in library I cannot speak English. I mean, I cannot practice English reading, English speaking. So I prefer open place. Today, okay, thank you for sharing wonderful reading time. I'll be back again. Thank you. Thank you. Oh.